Welcome back to FM Story. We ended the last episode in second place in the league and we just qualified for the fifth round of the FA Cup. Can we continue this push on to the end of the season? Let's find out. If you do enjoy this video, please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And without further ado, let's get going. We ended the last episode in second place in the league and we just beaten Oxford in the fourth round of the FA Cup to qualify for the fifth round. Since then, we've had a pretty decent run. We've had a couple of not brilliant performances, but largely we've been okay. So we beat Blackpool on transfer deadline day, 1-0. Didn't really play well, but we're fairly comfortable and got the win. Then we beat Wigan 1-0 again. It didn't really allow them many chances. Watford, we had a couple of goals disallowed. Then they scored in the 90th minute and we basically threw everyone forward and then equalised about 30 seconds later. So I ended up with a decent point, especially given the run of form that Watford had been on. We then, in the midweek, played West Brom and were atrocious and got played off the park, basically. Just didn't really perform. But we bounced back with a decent win over Swansea. And then a good win in the last game against QPR. We've got the game against Wigan coming up next. As we said, the Blackpool game was on the day of transfer deadline day. We didn't do an awful lot in terms of incomings. The only thing we actually did was signed Matthias Suler on loan from Juventus till the end of the season. We were given, the deal they gave us was basically pay no wages, pay no fee. So basically it was for free, and we could have him. So we took him. At the time, he was away on international duty with Argentina under 20s, and as you can probably guess, he managed to get injured. He sprained his knee ligaments, so he hasn't actually played for us. He's out for another 2 to 4 weeks, I think. Between 8 days and 4 weeks. So we might get him for a couple of games before the end of the season, but it hasn't cost us anything. So it's not as if it's the end of the world. In terms of outgoings, we'd obviously offloaded a few players on loan, but the only outgoing on deadline day was we sold Ainsley Pears to Chelsea for 150,000, considering he was out of contract at the end of the season and not that great. It was and given some of the performances he's putting in the opening game of the season, for example, it was a no-brainer just to get some cash in for someone who was going to be out of contract. It was a strange choice from Chelsea. Obviously, he's English registered, so that might help, but a bit of a bizarre one. And in terms of how we fared in the league, obviously we've seen how we've performed results-wise. We are currently 12 points clear of Burnley, so we're fairly safe in that second position at the minute, unless we have a massive collapse before the end of the season. We are 5 points now behind Norwich, so they are starting to pull away a little bit. Ben Brereton Diaz is still top scorer with 26. Tyler Morton still top of the assists with 12. Some of our players have had a bit of a decline in the second half of the season. Ryan Hedges, for example, has really kind of dropped off in his form since what he was doing in the early stage of the season. He's really kind of dropped off a bit and not really produced the same that he was doing in the early games of the season. He's also after a new contract, so he's got 2 years left on his contract, and we started off wanting 25,000 a week, which is a bit of an increase, and then wanted 18,000 a week. So I don't think he's going to get that new contract. But hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he can pick up his form a bit. We've not had to use him as much because of the emergence of Jack Vale, who's done really well when he's come into the team. So he can play on the left and we can play other players on the right instead of Hedges. But overall, we're doing pretty well, and hopefully we can continue that with this FA Cup game against Wigan. We're going into this Wigan game in the FA Cup with the same team that started the game against QPR in the last league game. So we've got Harry Pickering playing at left back because Enda Stevens has only just come back from injury. We've got Sammy Smodges playing behind Sam Gallagher, and John Buckley's getting a bit of a rest at the moment on the bench. We've got Ben Burton Diaz from the right, Jack Vale from the left, and Sam Gallagher through the middle. Hopefully we can get a decent performance in and qualify for the quarterfinals. Right. Got to get ahead on this one. Oof. Not quite sure how we kept that out, but we shouldn't have been beaten that easily. We've got to defend the corner a bit better as well. We've got the head on that, but they've got the ball back. Give him far too much time. So the corner comes back to him. Let him get across us. No one else has come out. And he smashed it home at the near post. Right. Okay. Oof. What was he doing? And then to come flying out like he did. Right. Can we get the ball across? And now they're going to... Oh. Lovely ball. Oh. Lovely kick from the keeper. How did he not even hit the target? Right, out to Stevens. Forward to Vale. Try to find Burton Diaz, but we couldn't. Travis Gallagher. Now we're going to get broken on again. Just give him all the... I mean, I don't know what the keeper's doing there, but if they didn't score, it was probably going to be a penalty, wouldn't it? Right. Can the ball cross? Penalty. Is this the start of the comeback? That was a very bizarre animation from the goalkeeper. It looked like it was straight down his throat. It basically fell backwards out of the way of the ball. That was ridiculously bad. An XG of 2.63, we scored 1. They had an XG of 2.12 and they scored 2. Although our XG was only that high, probably because of the penalty. But even still, we wasted so many chances. I mean, Sam Gallagher had 2 clear chances that he threw on goal and just didn't hit the target. Hopefully, we can now just concentrate on the league. And hopefully this doesn't affect the league form going forward. Since we were dumped out of the FA Cup, we've had a pretty decent run in the league. So we've played 3 games since then. So we beat Sheffield United 2-1. We were fairly comfortable in front. Scored 2, they pulled 1 back, and then Ben Burton Diaz missed a penalty, which was sealed his hat-trick and made it a bit more comfortable. We then beat Stoke 2-0 away. Fairly comfortable again. They didn't really threaten, especially when they went down to 10 men. And then we beat Reading 3-1 at home in the last game with a couple of goals from Ben Burton Diaz and then a late header from Scott Wharton just to seal the game. It did get a bit tight and a bit nervy after Tommins pulled a goal back for them, but we held on and then went and kicked away to win 3-1. Obviously, we only have the league to focus on now, so we're we've got a big game coming up next against Burnley. We're currently sat second in the Championship. We're now only 3 points behind Norwich, but we are 17 points ahead of Watford in third. So it's looking pretty good in terms of us at least getting promoted as the second place team, unless we have a complete and utter collapse. Ben Brereton Days is up to 32 goals now for the season. And Tyler Morton's still leading the assists with 12. Bit of a concern in terms of that we're leading the bookings. Lewis Travis is in the middle of a 3-game ban for having reached 15 yellow cards. Callum Britton's already at 12. Hopefully missing the experience of Lewis Travis in centre midfield and the skipper won't make too much of a difference in the game against Burnley. We did beat them comfortably earlier on in the season, so hopefully we can go ahead and do the same again. So we did record the Burnley game as we played it, but the file got corrupted. So what we'll do is we'll just go through the key highlights. I mean, as you can see from the team, we did make a couple of changes in terms of Dolan was playing wide right, Gallagher played wide left, so Vale and Hedges were on the bench. So if we look at how the game went, we didn't start particularly well. In fact, we started horrendously. So we're playing out from the back, taking a bit of time on the ball. Played it long and lost out immediately. Britton try and drive on. Buckley, Morton, they won the ball back. We nicked in. It comes to Morton, who puts Buckley through, but the defender makes a decent block. Then their first real attack, I mean, Benson looked miles offside, but ball comes out to Gallagher on this left-hand side, and he just dilly-dallies on the ball and just gives it away far too easily. Benson into Davis Oglou, and that's a great finish. But it's all of our own making. We should have kept hold of the ball, shouldn't have given it away that easily. From the corner, they head clear. Britton picks it up and powers past their defence, but can only hit the shot straight at the goalkeeper. Gallagher, going down the line, cuts back onto his right, tries to pull it back to Britton, but it goes. They nick the ball away. Britton picks it up and goes forward, drives down that right hand side again. This time he crosses the ball, but Brereton Diaz can only head wide. Then their keeper clears the ball as far as Morton, who plays it back into Gallagher. Really, you should do much better than that. Keeper saves it, and then they can clear the ball. Second half, Britton powers down the right hand side again. He's having a really good game down that right hand side. Springs the ball left to Vale. Morton gives him it back. Cross loops up off the defender, and then Buckley just smashes home a volley on his left foot. And Britton, and the ball comes over. Brereton Diaz goes to pick it up at the back post. Stevens to Wharton, and the other Wharton, and then out to Hedges, who knocks the ball back to Britton. Lovely ball to the back post. Vale takes it on his chest and then smashes another unstoppable volley past the keeper. And then we've got the ball wide again. We give the ball away, but they don't have anyone off the pitch. Silva brings it back. Britton to Morton, plays in Hedges, who hits the post, but he was offside. Stevens with a throw in to Vale, back to Stevens, back to Vale. He takes it across the box, sticks it in the bottom corner, and that secured the win 3-1. Vale did brilliantly when he came on at half time. 2 goals and an assist. He's really kind of pushing himself forward as someone who should be starting every week. But it was a great victory over our rivals. If you look at the stats as well, we had 24 shots, 9 on target. They had 9 shots, 1 on target, which was the goal. We had much more possession. Obviously had a lot more corners as well. So we definitely deserved to win. It's just the first half we really didn't play like it. But hopefully we can push on and secure promotion. That, I think, secured our place in the playoffs. But hopefully we can push on and secure promotion and even maybe challenge for the championship. So this is what our youth intake report looked like, the preview. It was down as an excellent youth intake. Obviously, past experience teaches you to take these all with a pinch of salt. I mean, the fact that we have 3 forwards who are considered to be fine prospects, like, almost guarantees that it's not going to be. However, when the youth intake actually came through, this is what we were sitting with. So obviously, 5-star excellent intake, appears to be a terrific group of players, potential to be a real golden generation for the club. In terms of actual elite talents, there's quite a few. There's 1 top talent, then some good talent, and then only a couple of decent talents at the bottom. So we've got Papul Apataki, goalkeeper. Looks, I mean, immediately is challenging to be our second best goalkeeper. We've got Sean Brown, who can play behind the front man. Not particularly, doesn't look to have particularly great attributes so far, but obviously has the potential there from looking at it. We've got Mohammed here, who can play wide left or through the middle. Again, decent looking potential, a bit further down the pecking order. We've got Justine Moen, a Norwegian, who can play through the middle or play both flanks. Who's again a bit further down the pecking order in terms of things, but decent potential as well. We've got Kevin Brown at centre half, who immediately, like, although the one knock would be his height, but pretty decent heading, decent tackling, and again a bit further down the pecking order. The goalkeeper, obviously, we do have a bit of a shortage of goalkeepers. That's probably why he's a bit higher up there. I think an almost second choice already. So we've got Regan Reynard, who can play centre midfield, he can play up front, and he can play behind the front man. That looks, I mean, 18 teamwork, 16 work rate. He's 6 foot tall as well. I think he could be a decent one to look at in the future. And then in terms of top talent, so we've got Eden Kabangu from DR Congo, another wide man come centre forward. Determined, good teamwork. A bit concerned about the lack of pace, but he is quite tall as well. And then in terms of the good talents, so we've got another centre half. We've got a left winger, holding midfielder, full back, left side of midfielder, right side of midfielder. So certainly the top end of the talent really does seem to have come through in terms of the what we were promised. So hopefully this is a decent squad to build from. And that's it for this episode. Join us next time to see if we can go up automatically, and could we even finish the season as champions. Join us next time to find out.